So once the new neighbors settled into the apartment, my parents went to say hello to them, and I also noticed that they had children of their own who were around my age. The first time that I met the new neighbors' kids, I didn't know how to socialize. I saw through the bedroom window that the kids were playing in the backyard, and I would watch them play, but I wouldn't really interact with them because I was very shy. And then I noticed this pudgy girl who was around 10 or 11, and she was telling her siblings to not run around because they were running around like wild animals in the backyard. So I opened the window, I started talking to the pudgy girl that was there, and let's just say our interaction became hostile at first because I had no idea how to socialize, and it was actually very funny because we were throwing insults at each other. We were enemies at first. I showed off to her that I had more dolls than she did. By the end of the day, I noticed that she had her head down on the grass. She looked very sad. So I made a complete jackass out of myself, so I decided to apologize. We reintroduced ourselves, and from that day on, we became the very best of friends, and she told me that her name was Sue Ellen. Sue Ellen was a year older than I was, and her birthday was in April. I believe she was an Aries, and she was very fiery, and she would always start projects, and she would always be up to play. When I was on summer vacation, we would play cash register, we would play board games, we would tell ghost stories, and we would do a lot of fun activities together. And I also noticed that the shrubs in the garden were cut before the new neighbors came in. They were really tall, but then when Sue Ellen and her family were there, the shrubs were cut very, very short. I also remember that there were a lot of dandelions in the grass. Sue Ellen had a younger sister and a younger brother. Her younger brother reminded me of Donnie from the Wild Thornberrys because he was so wild and he would always be outside in the backyard running around, and he was so crazy. And her sister too was also really weird. She would always make us laugh because she would say the most random things. And then one day, I remember during the spring, there was a huge rainfall, and Sue Ellen told me to come out, and we went outside along with her siblings. We all got wet. And then on July 4th, Sue Ellen and her family had a party in the backyard. They also roasted marshmallows, and I remember Sue Ellen giving me a marshmallow through the window. We would have our own little campfire session there. It was a lot of fun. And they lived in the apartment complex for about 2 years. And then one day, something really scary happened to me. My parents were away doing some errands. I was home alone with my sister. There was a very loud knock at the door, so I went to open it. I was face to face with these ICE officials, and this very persistent guy shoved an ID in my face and asked me who this person was, and I believe it was Sue Ellen's mother that was in the ID card. They were trying to find her, and they were interrogating me, and I had no idea what to do. I was a kid at the time. I was like, what's going on? What should I do? So the only thing I could do in self-defense was slam the door in his face. And I locked the door, and they ended up kicking the door, and they were really, really aggressive and violent. I didn't open the door to them.